Yeah, hi guys, this is Bakapa Chinchalikar. In this tutorial, I will give you a overview on the Selenium automation framework development. So we will be using Selenium WebDriver, Java, TestNG unit testing framework, POM, that is a page object model concept. And next we'll be using the Maven, that is a automatic build tool. So you will learn how to develop a scripts and what are the standards you need to follow while designing and development of the framework and while designing and executing the test cases as well. So our framework supports for the environment based testing, that is you can execute your scripts in QA, UAT, SIT and different environments as well. Our framework supports for the parallel testing as well, and also it creates the logs and it automatically attach the screenshot as well to the extent report. So next we have is a data driven testing. So our framework supports for the data driven testing as well. You can pass the multiple sets of test data and you can execute the single test case. So we have developed our framework using the page object model concept, that is a design pattern we'll be using to maintain the and managing of our object repository. So next we have is the reporting part. We will be using the extent report. So configurations and the test data. So in this configuration we'll be setting up all the URL and the what type of browser you want to execute your scripts. So you'll be mentioning the environment and the browser name, and also you'll be mentioning the browser URL. So all about the test data. So we need to maintain and manage our test data for each of the test cases, so that we can discuss in the framework development sessions. So next we have is in our framework, it supports for the test script status updating in Excel file. So for each of the test cases, it updates the status whether it is a pass, fail or a skipped. So we'll be having a multiple ways to execute our scripts. So that we'll be discussing in the framework development session. The last point we have is debugging. Say for example, if we have a 20 scripts, out of that 15 are passed and only 5 are maybe failed because of the environment or because of the script modification required. So in that case, you need to debug those particular test cases. We will see how to debug those particular test cases one by one. So if you look at in this particular screen, right, so few of the topics are highlighted in sky blue color. So those topics we will see the demonstration like practical examples on the each of the topics. So let us move on to the next slide. So just it contains the overview of our Selenium automation framework. That is, we have multiple folders. So in the first folder we have is src, that is nothing but the source. It contains all the source code. The next folder we have is config. In this config, it contains all the suite files for each of the models. Then the next folder we have is reports. In this particular reports folder, we will be generating the extent report. So this report contains all the logs and the screenshots for each of the pass and the fail test cases. So next folder we have is resources. So we'll be creating the folders under the resources based on the environment, like prod, QA, UAT. You can create also for different environments like SIT and all. So in this particular resources, you can have the key and value pairs. You'll be reading those particular properties in your scripts. So next folder we have is resource test data. In this particular resources test data, so this is the overview of the resource test data, how it looks like. So based on the environment, we have segregated our folders. First one is a prod, next one is a QA and the UAT. Say for example, if my script wanted to, if I'm interested to execute my script in UAT, so all it goes to this particular folder, UAT folder, and if it fetches all the data from this particular UAT folder. So next we have the screenshots folder. Within this we'll be storing our screenshots, and the same screenshot will be attaching into the extent report. So this is a simple overview of the automation framework. So we will see the demonstration of the few of the concepts which is listed in this particular first slide. So first we will discuss how to execute our scripts in different environments like QA, UAT, SIT and prod. So we will see a simple example in the Eclipse IDE. So let us move on to the Eclipse IDE. So this is a simple framework what I have explained till now. So if I wanted to execute my scripts in the UAT environment, first I will go to this particular resources test data. Then I will open this particular configurations Excel file. So this is where you have to set up. Currently it is this particular configuration setup has done for the QA environment. So it will execute all scripts in QA environment. So here you can specify the browser, and here you can specify the URL. Only currently I'm interested in only these three columns. That is the application environment. The second one is a browser. Third one is a URL. So currently it will execute all scripts in a QA environment. Then next we will execute our scripts in a UAT environment, and I'll show you the difference, how it is fetching the data. Based on that I'll show you the difference. So currently it will execute all scripts in the QA environment. Let us close this particular Excel. So already I am having the suite, that is the model 1 suite. So this contains 5 scripts. So this particular model I have created, and this model 1 contains total 5 scripts. So all 5 scripts will be getting executed if I trigger execution for this particular model 1 suite file. So in this case, right, so I'm triggering model 1 suite file. So I'm just running it as a TestNG suite. So I have taken the simple example facebook.com. So it will validate something in this particular login page and enters the some data in the username and password field. So currently it is having the issues with the internet. Just give me a second. So just let me stop this build. Just give me a 1 second. Just I will connect for the internet. Just 1 minute guys. So just it takes few seconds to get connected. I think it's working fine for now. Yes, it's working fine. So let us trigger the model 1 test cases in my case. So here I'm executing it as a TestNG suite. Now the second script is running. So if you observe here, right, so in the email and the password field, so it is getting the data from the QA environment. So if you look at this particular thing, right, in this case, it will enter you the some data followed by the QA. So that means it is fetching the data from the QA environment. So we will cross verify the test data in the screenshot what we have captured in the report. So forcefully I have failed 2 test cases out of 5 test scripts. So total number of test cases should be 5 and the failed number of test cases should be 2. So if you look at this, total test case is 5 and there are 2 failed test cases. So let us minimize this. So if I refresh this particular reports folder, so under this this particular name, this particular report, I'm opening it. See guys, so total we have 5 test cases. I have forcefully failed test 4 and the test 5. So because assertion I have made it as a failed, because I mean that data what I have passed is not the matching one. That's the reason assertion got failed. So if you look at the test 1, right, so this particular test 1 got passed. So if you open this particular data, whatever it is entered here is, that is a test 1 underscore QA. So if I minimize this and if I open the test data from this particular QA environment, so that is a model 1 test data I have passed to these 5 test cases test data. So let me open this particular test data file. See guys, in the first, for the test case 1, that is a TC001, we have passed this particular email ID, that is test1 underscore QA. The same data is passed to the test 1. And if you observe the same for the, let's consider the test case 3, that is a TC underscore 003. So this particular data should be passed to the test 3. So if you look at this test 3, so if I open the screenshot, so you can see the same data. So that means it has taken the data from the QA environment. So that's how you can trigger the execution different environment. So let us execute the scripts in a UAT environment now. So let us change the configurations. So here I'm just specifying the UAT. So that's it. In some cases, if you want, you can change the browser, and also definitely this particular URL will be getting changed based on the environment also. So just I'm minimizing this. Sorry, I'm closing this. So simply I will trigger the model 1 test script execution. If you are observing in this particular email ID and password field, right, so it is entering the UAT data. It's ending with the UAT. So that data I'll be showing once this execution is completed. That particular data is located in the UAT folder. If you look at here, right, so total number of test cases is 5 and the failed test case is 2. So let us refresh this particular report. Let me open this particular report. So let me check the test 1 test data what we have passed. So here if you see, right, the for test 1 we have passed the test 1 underscore UAT. So this particular test data, whatever the email ID we have, right, that particular field test data is located under the, so just I'm minimizing the UAT QA. So here I'm opening the UAT test data. If I open this particular test data, for test 1 we are passing the this particular test 1 underscore UAT as a test data. So that means it is based on the environment, it is getting the data and it is executing the mentioned number of scripts, mentioned number of steps. So that's it about the environment based testing. So you can trigger the execution in different environments. So let us go to the next topic, that is a parallel testing with the reporting. So let me open this module 1 suite file. Let me maximize this. So here I'm specifying the thread count as 5. So we have total 5 test cases. So all the 5 test cases will be getting executed at one shot. So you need to specify the thread count, and the parallel is equal to methods. So that's it, guys. So once you modified that particular suite file, just I'm triggering this particular suite file execution as a TestNG suite file. So if you observe here, right, so it executes all 5 test cases at a time. And in the same way, you can see the report as well in the extent report, that is in the format of HTML. So all the 5 test cases are getting executed at the one shot. See guys, all the test cases got executed properly. So if you see the total number of test cases, there are 5 test cases, and there are two failed test cases. Let us refresh our report. So if you see here, right, fourth test case and the fifth test case got failed. And for the failed test case, you can see the all the description. Like here we are expecting true, but we are getting the false as the results. If you come down, you can see the sorry guys, you can see the screenshot why it is got failed, and if any error occurred, you can see this error description and as well as the screenshot. See guys, if you look at the report, right, so all 5 test cases got reported, like test 1, test 2, test 3, test 4, and test 5. So for past test cases also, if you look at the past test case, it is reported, everything is reported properly, and you can see the screenshot as well. So that's all about the parallel testing with the reporting. Let us move on to the next topic. So data driven testing, and in the same way we will be having the reporting with the extent report. See guys, this is the suite file we have. So in this particular case, I'm using the annotation data provider. So this is the script class I have. So I have created a single test. I'm passing the test data from the annotation data provider. So this particular test data, I'm reading it from the, so currently it is pointing to the UAT. So it will pass all these 5 sets of test data, all 5 sets of test data to the this particular single test. So usually it is reading the test data from the this particular Excel. So if I trigger this particular data driven testing suite file for the execution, so it passes one sets of test data at a time. So we have 5 sets of test data. So there will be a 5 times this particular browser will be launching and closing. So in each of the test cases, right, so I have written a single test case and I have passed the multiple sets of test data. That test data we have kept in the Excel file. So simply it launches a web browser and it just opens the facebook.com and it enters the different username and password, and it performs the validation in the script. That's it, guys. In this case, right? So we have total number of tests is 5. So there are 0 failures. Let me refresh this particular reports folder. So if you look at right in this particular report, so there are 5 test cases passed and there are 0 failures. So in the first one, if you see it right, so testing with the first sets of test data. So if you look at this particular screenshot, right, it has passed the test1 underscore UAT, the first set of test data. So let us go to the our framework, then we will see the test data and we will compare the same data with the report as well. So this is the first sets of test data we have passed to the test1 underscore UAT. If you see the report, right, so it in the for a testing with the first sets of test data, so you can see the test1 underscore UAT is passed to the when it is running with the first sets of test data. The second sets of test data what we have is test2 underscore UAT, and the followed by the for third test we have test3 underscore UAT, test4 underscore UAT, and at last we have the test5 underscore UAT. So same way you can see in the report, right? So if I go to the fifth sets of test data, that's testing with the 5 sets of test data. So if you open this particular screenshot, you'll be seeing a test5 underscore UAT. So this is nothing but the fifth sets of test data we have passed and we have captured the screenshot as well. So that's all about the data driven testing and the reporting part. The next topic we have is reporting with the extend report. We have discussed how it is reporting and how it is capturing the screenshots for the failed and the past test cases. So this is about the configurations and the test data. So we are maintaining our configuration in the Excel file. So this is our configuration where we are mentioning the environment type and the browser type and the URL. So test data, as you have seen already, so this is a form of test data what we are using for our performing the validations. So let me close this. So next topic we have is test script status updating in Excel file. So if I go to this particular test data file model 1, you can go in any environment. So there is a column called test case status update. So that is, if it is passed that particular test case, it will update the status over here, that is a pass or failed here. So let me delete all these things. So as currently pointing it is, sorry guys, in the configuration we have done the configuration as a UAT environment. So obviously it points to the UAT folder, that is this UAT folder. So in this particular test data file, just I have removed all the statuses for each of the test cases. Let me close this. So let me close this also. So let me run the model on test cases. Let us see whether it is updating the test case status. So in this model 1, right, we have total 5 test cases. So as we have set it for the parallel testing, so let us execute the this particular model 1 suite. Let us check whether it is updating the test case status or not. So it should update all the test case status into the UAT folder. That is a model 1. Under the UAT environment, it has to update to the model 1 test cases. So it has launched all the 5 browsers at a time. So we have set the thread count to the 5, so it has launched the all 5 browsers at a time. So let me refresh this particular UAT folder. So if I open the model 1 test data, which is having the test cases test data, so 5 out of 5, only 5 first 3 are passed and the next 2 are failed, because in the for I have forcefully failed for the test case number 4 and the test case number 5. So this is the expected results. So that's all about the test case status updating into the Excel file. So you have seen how you are performing the execution. So debugging, say for example, if I wanted to, let's open this particular module on test cases. Say for example, I wanted to debug the test case 1. So how you debug this particular test case? So here I'm just keeping the breakpoint in the test case 1. So I wanted to debug only this particular test 1 because all other test cases are working fine, that is a test 2 and test 3 so on. So I wanted to debug only failed test cases, that is a test 1. So how to debug this particular test case? So what you need to do is go to the suite file. So in this suite file, what I'm doing is just I'm excluding other test cases by using the exclude tag. So we have another 4 test cases, that is a tc underscore 002, tc underscore 003, tc underscore 004 and tc underscore 005. So these 4 test cases are working fine. So that's the reason I'm not debugging those test cases. I'm interested in only that is a test 1, that is test case 1. So that's the reason I have excluded for all the test cases and I'm executing only single test case. So let me debug this particular test 1 by right clicking on the suite file, and you can select the option as debug as and run suite. So now the debugger stopped the execution and it will go to the breakpoint where we have kept the breakpoint. So this is where exactly we have kept the breakpoints. So if you look at here, right, so it is getting all the test data in the format of hash map, like test, this is a test case ID and this is a, so already we have returned the pass to this particular test case status. So you can delete that, doesn't matter. But this is the email ID we have passed and this is the password we have passed, that is in the Excel we have. See this particular Excel data we are passing over here by using this particular test data object. We are using a get method. So under that, based on the key, we are passing the values as well. If you can go to the next step, you can press F6 or you can press this particular symbols to do a step over. To step into, you can use the F5. So this is how we can go to the next step and you can just resume the execution and then it will goes on. So if you look at this, right, so execution got completed. So if you look at in the down, right, so let me resume this. If you look at this, right, total test run is 1 and the failure is 0. That means guys, we are trying to run only one test case, that is we are trying to debug only single test case. So that's the reason here, if you look at right, the total test run is 1 and the failure is 0. And in the same way, you can, if you look at the report as well, right, it should be generated the report for the only single test case. So if you look at this, right, only one test case executed, which we are trying to debug the test case. So we have excluded by using the exclude tag. So we have executed only first test case, that is a test 1, and in the report also it is logged the test 1 only, and you can see the same screenshot as well, whatever the data we have passed for that particular test case. So that's all guys. So this is all about the overview and the simple demo on the Selenium automation framework design and development. So most of the things we have covered and we have seen the practical stuff as well. So if you like this particular tutorial, right, so you can click on the like button and also you can share with the friends and the colleagues. And if you have any questions, you can comment in the comment section of this below video. And if you need any help in developing, or if you're facing any issues, also you can comment in the comment section. I can, as soon as possible, I will be replying to your comment as well. Thank you very much for watching tutorial on Selenium Automation Framework Development Overview.